Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into something absolutely crucial. As AI literally takes over our daily routines, there's a huge elephant in the room. How do we actually introduce everyday people to these incredibly powerful systems? We're going to walk through a specific AI safety onboarding script, a framework for user education proposed by Martin Stevens. And listen, this is designed to be the exact kind of example platforms like OpenAI should be building into their user onboarding. Why? Well, to make totally sure users are educated on what they're actually dealing with, which helps protect companies from major liability, while, most importantly, protecting users from preventable harm. It's a fantastic framework, so let's just get right into it.
Here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering today. We'll logically walk through this step-by-step safety curriculum. First, the safety onboarding proposal itself. Second, AI patterns, not people. Third, limitations and professional advice. Fourth, emotional influence and dependence. And finally, we'll wrap up with acknowledging user responsibility.
All right, Section 1, the safety onboarding proposal, the context behind the script.
Right off the bat, before we even look at the script itself, we gotta establish a very clear disclaimer, just like Stevens did in his proposal. It says, this script has not been reviewed, approved, endorsed, commissioned, or adopted by OpenAI. It is solely an example. So we're looking at this strictly as an illustrative example of the kind of mandatory education proposed before anyone uses these systems. We're totally impartial here, not taking sides, just unpacking the source material and this really fascinating educational framework.
So why are we even talking about this? Like, what sparked the need for a mandatory onboarding? Well, the catalysts for this proposal come from some very real modern problems. Stevens put this together because of alleged psychological harm tied to AI use, multiple publicly reported lawsuits involving AI companies, and this growing consensus that, yeah, mandatory education is pretty much a necessity before you interact with advanced AI. The thinking is, if you put a short presentation in front of users, you set a baseline reality. You educate them right out of the gate. That protects the platform from liability and shields the user from preventable harm before they ever even type their first prompt.
Moving on to Section 2, AI, patterns, not people, defining the technology. What's really cool is how the script doesn't sugarcoat anything. It defines exactly what the user is interacting with from second one. It says, artificial intelligence is a computer system designed to generate text, images, audio, video, code, and other content based on patterns learned from large amounts of data. It's giving credit where it's due. Yes, AI is helpful, creative, productive. But it instantly strips away the magic trick. It's just operating on patterns from massive data sets. That's the whole shebang.
And this perfectly captures the line between a handy tool and an actual human. The script deliberately contrasts the AI's genuinely helpful traits with what it completely lacks. It tells the user straight up, AI is not a human being. It doesn't possess consciousness, emotions, beliefs, intentions, personal experiences, or self-awareness. Talk about a reality check. The machine might write a beautiful poem or be wildly productive, but it honestly doesn't understand you. It doesn't care about you, judge you, or form a genuine relationship with you.
And here's the kicker. Any appearance of personality, empathy, friendship, expertise, or confidence, it's all an illusion generated through patterns and language, not genuine human thought or feeling. Think about how crucial that is for someone to hear. When the AI sounds incredibly empathetic, it's really just predicting the most logical next word based on human language. Getting your head around that is absolutely foundational to preventing the kind of emotional harm this script is trying to tackle.
Okay, Section 3, limitations and professional advice, setting hard boundaries.
So once the user actually gets what the AI is, the script hits them with what it gets wrong. It gives a stark warning. AI can be wrong. It may provide inaccurate, incomplete, or outdated information or answers that sound convincing but are incorrect. Basically, it's calling out the classic hallucination problem. The script demands that users independently verify important info. Just because a chatbot sounds super confident absolutely doesn't mean it's telling the truth.
Which leads us right to the high-stakes stuff. The script draws an absolute line in the sand. AI should never, ever replace professionals. It lists the big ones: medical issues, mental health concerns, legal matters, financial decisions, and emergency situations. The instruction is crystal clear. If you're dealing with any of those, go to a qualified professional or appropriate emergency services. Once again, this circles back to the core goal here. Educate the user, protect the platform from liability, and stop real-world harm before it happens.
Let's jump into Section 4, emotional influence and dependence, identifying the psychological risks. Now, this is a deeply important question the script throws at the user. Can you become emotionally dependent on AI? Seriously, think about that for a second. As these systems get better and better at mimicking human conversation, the risk of getting emotionally attached is skyrocketing. The source material flags this as a massive concern, and the script confronts the user about this exact psychological risk right at the start. To help with that, the script literally outlines warning signs to watch out for. It says if you find yourself becoming emotionally dependent on AI, using it as your primary source of companionship, relying on it for validation, or allowing it to make major life decisions on your behalf, we encourage you to step back and seek input from trusted people in your life. It's acting like a psychological safety net, giving users a literal checklist of red flags to look for in their own daily lives. All right, our final section, Section 5, Acknowledging User Responsibility, the Agreement Process. So how does this all wrap up? The script closes out the onboarding by putting the ball firmly back in the user's court. It grounds everything in a simple truth. Remember that AI is a tool. And just like any powerful tool, think of a car or a power saw, it can be used responsibly or completely irresponsibly. Framing it this way makes it clear that what you get out of the AI depends just as much on you as it does on the tech itself. Then, before anyone can even start using the platform, the proposal suggests a formal agreement. It's a quick 4-step acknowledgement process. First, acknowledge AI can be inaccurate. Second, acknowledge AI is not human. Third, acknowledge it's not professional advice. And fourth, agree to use multiple reliable sources for critical decisions. By checking these boxes, the user takes responsibility, fully educated on the risks involved. But look, it doesn't end on a scary note. The script finishes by reminding us that artificial intelligence has tremendous potential to improve education, creativity, research, accessibility, and productivity when used safely. The whole point of this onboarding framework isn't to scare people away. It's to empower them. It's about giving users the knowledge they need to use these incredible tools responsibly and effectively.
Which leaves us with this final thought. As AI gets more and more advanced, should mandatory safety education be the new standard? Is a required onboarding script, like the example Martin Stevens proposed today, exactly what companies need to educate users, manage their liability, and avoid preventable harm? It is a really fascinating framework to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and keep asking the big questions.